Going to jump right into it. There are some things I will never ever understand. Maybe forgive me. Maybe I should be a little more patient about it. But there are some things in life I will never understand. For example, if I were to ask you, okay, let's pretend that somebody came up to me, had a few money questions. I'm not a financial advisor. I am just a person that likes to get on behind a microphone and share an opinion. Okay. And that's it. And that's literally it. I'm a good talker. But if we were having a generalized conversation about money, and a person was saying that they're in problems and stuff like that, one of the questions I would probably automatically spout from my mouth is, "Well, how much do you make, if you don't mind me asking?" And assumingly, the person that I am speaking with, who's having a financial issue, would probably, without a doubt at all, would know the answer. But you would be shocked and amazed that there are a lot of people floating around out there. I know, brace yourself for it because I had to. There are a lot of people out there that do not know their own paycheck, that do not know what they make. Some people do not even know what they make per hour. Okay. Some people do not know what they make per year. Okay. Some people do not know what do they add it all up to for a whole month. That is scary. I'm sorry. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money and More Jan channel. Let's get again right to it. How could we possibly manage? Think about this for a second. How can you, myself, anyone possibly manage our budgets if we don't know what we're getting in our income? Please, someone out there, answer this question because I don't know the answer to that. And it is totally frustrating. And yes, believe it or not, there are a bunch of people out there that do not know. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's clear this up. There are some jobs or some situations, business situation, for example, myself doing this thing, okay, what I'm doing right now. I have no way of determining what the next month is going to bring into me. Because, for example, we earn whatever we earn, what we choose to earn, what we monetize, videos and this and that, the people that view them, all this and all that. I have zero, zero, knowledge of what next month is going to bring in. Zero. It could be anywhere from 100 over whatever that number would be. I do not know. So in a case like that, yeah, it's kind of warranted to know that I don't know the answer to that. But if someone were to ask me, well, what did you make last month? Absolutely, I would know. I would just look it up. There's a number and the story, case closed. Okay. So I'm just saying. So there are some situations, but I'm talking about something a little bit differently. I'm talking about the person who has a salary, who has a W 2. See where I'm going with that? That kind of more or less know what they're getting every pay period. Unlike the person who really does not know futuristically what they're going to get. It's almost like a crapshoot. It's almost like a gamble. So we need to, well, I have to be blunt here. We need to cut out the BS when it comes to our own finances. There's no easier way to say it. I mean, I'm being very polite, but we need to cut out the BS. Self honesty is really important. Do we really not know? Or do we seriously not care? Now, now we're getting into the gray area of stuff. It's not exactly clearly black or white, and I know immediately what it is. It's no clear definition. So we step into the gray area of things like a little bit of muddy water there. I think it's extremely essential to know what one is bringing in every single month. How can you plan a budget? You can't. You can't. All right. So let's stop with the nonsense. So it's time to cut stuff out of our budget and rethink things out. However, you have to know what your numbers are. You have to know what your numbers are. And if you really, really don't know, and it is totally possible, really don't know if you're on a W 2. I mean, if you're working straight, straight hours, look it up. Seriously, look it up. You do get a pay period statement, right? Assumingly. I would hope so. Anyway, all right. So now that we know, let's presume now that we know what we get. Now, here's the second challenge. what do we do with it? A lot of people say, I have more month than money. That's never a good thing. When you have more month than money, that's never a good thing. All right. But are there some things that we do, some bad money habits as we go along throughout our day? We don't even realize we're doing it. There was a time I wasn't realizing that I was doing certain things that were like, well, a little bit of a wallet leak here and a wallet leak there, here a leak, there a leak, everywhere a leak. Yeah, 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 yeah. Truly and truly, sure. Absolutely. Believe me, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. Honestly, I do. But let's talk about some. I hate to be blunt, but I have to sometimes because I get a little bit frustrated with certain things. So I'm just saying it again. We got to cut out the BS expenses. The BS expenses. Come on now. Like, for example, if you're struggling, if a person, let's say, I'm not talking about you personally, if a person, let's talk about a third person, right? If a person is struggling to make ends meet, right? And their bills are constantly late and they're paying more interest than principal, that's a problem. That's going to get one into the deeper, deeper hole, the rabbit hole of DEBT, debt. Isn't it strange that the word debt, DEBT, sounds so much like the word DEATH? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ugh, both not so great. I'm just saying. But let's get back to business about cutting out BS expenses. We have to be totally honest with ourselves. And a part of it is acknowledging, you know what? We just might have to bring our lunch to work. There are people that discount the power of little improved changes, little bitty changes. For example, let's say typically a person who's struggling to pay their credit cards down or just get through to the month, and they don't understand. They don't understand. Here's a typical day. They get up, they ignore the coffee maker that is actually sitting on a counter in their beautiful, nice little kitchen, okay? Even if it's a humble kitchen, who cares? It's a kitchen, right? And it's your kitchen. But they bypass that beautiful coffee maker. Who wants to touch that? When all you have to do is get dressed, go in the car, and drive over somewhere and pay an arm and a leg for coffee outside. This is a typical day for some people, okay? And they don't mind forking out a couple, three, even $4, or even more in some cases, just to have coffee. Oh, I need my first cup of coffee. No, you want to wake up. Well, I think it takes a lot of steps just to get head on over to the coffee place when initially there's a coffee place sitting right in your kitchen or whatever space you have. How many people have like not even a kitchen and they make the most of their space? And somehow they're smart enough, wise enough, and frugal enough to make their own cup of coffee, which will cost them a fraction of the cost, for example, of all that mumbling and stumbling all the way to the coffee place and waiting on another line for 10 minutes. Sounds like a heck of a lot of work just to grab a cup of coffee. We put it in our minds. Oh, that coffee is the best. You know what it is? It's the environment. It's something different. You feel like you're being pampered. There's a lot of psychology that goes behind that cup of coffee. I really believe that. And I am no psychologist, okay? Okay. I have family members that are in that business, but I am definitely not one of those. I'm just Jan that likes to talk about real life issues. Okay. So for me personally, it would take a lot of work, a lot of work to get over to that coffee place. I rather walk into my humble kitchen, look at my little, I have a choice. I have like that pot that just makes hot water, which I love that thing from Hamilton Beach. I don't make a dime for mentioning it, but those Hamilton Beach coffee, those kettles, those hot water kettles are amazing. So I make my hot water there, or I have an actual coffee maker for when company comes over. Okay. I love instant coffee. I actually like it better than roasted coffee, but that's me. Okay. So I get out of the land of BS and I get into the land of reality. Okay. Because, when you're a little older and, maybe on a fixed income or this, that, and you want to still continue to save and continue with your financial goals, I much rather just walk into my humble kitchen with my little kettle and make hot water and have my still, well, I'll put to you this way. About these days, it's between a 30 and 40 cent cup of coffee. Not quite a quarter like it used to be, for a while. But hopefully, maybe it'll get better. I don't know. I have no idea. But 40, 35, even 40 cents for a cup sure beats $3 for a cup. Not to mention the gas I would waste to have to drive over to some place and get my coffee and wait on online. Right. So we're still talking about the same morning. All right. So if you're still with me here, and if you're still with me, that's great. Thank you. So let's say this same individual, okay, they get to work, right? Meantime, their job is giving them free coffee. I meant to mention that. Many jobs have provide free coffee right then and there, but people bypass it. Don't ask me why. Excuse me. The smart ones don't, because even when I worked at that place, where everybody was laid off, that place always had coffee in the morning. I didn't buy extra coffee. No way. I lived on that coffee for free. All right. So then they go to work, right? Many times people skip breakfast. Sometimes about 10 o'clock, you're like, wait a minute. All you had was outside coffee and no breakfast. By 10 o'clock, you're looking for a little snack. So instead of having a pre planned, brought to you by home snack bar, which you could get the store brand of for a song, grab a snack bar and it's over and done. But no, 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 no. We walk into the office canteen, as they used to call it back in the day, which is kind of like a little restaurant where they sell snacks and lunch all day long. So they spend another $2, $3 on a similar product and go back to their desk, maybe buy some more coffee. Okay. Then comes lunch. Oh, no, we didn't bring in our lunch from home, which easily one could do. Just imagine you had a beautiful meatloaf left over from last night. Wouldn't it have been nice to make yourself a nice meatloaf sandwich from home that you know what's in it and you have it seasoned up the way you like it best? No, 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 no. Instead of that, that same person would rather spend another $5, $6 on lunch. Are we doing the math here? So far, we spent over $10, okay? And then, of course, comes the 2, 3 o'clock break, which many offices give. And then they're looking for more outside coffee or whatever snack to tide them over to hopefully have a meal at home. But then again, sometimes, we're so tired. And after all, we should be rewarded. We deserve not to cook dinner tonight. You see where I'm going with this. So dinner could be the meal that you can cook up with the stuff you already paid for and make the max out of it. And even tomorrow's lunch out of it. No, no, no. We don't do that. We figure we deserve better. We worked hard all day. I'm not saying it didn't work. I'm not saying that. But you're throwing your money around. You're not getting to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Because all that money that typically a person could spend has been spent on, well, job related. You don't have to make your meals job related. You could slash your expenses in half by starting the day off right. Have your coffee and your breakfast at home. I mean, if you don't like to make coffee and it's too much work for you, boil that water and have a cup of instant like I do. I just happen to enjoy the taste of instant. That's the reason why I do it. If you're so tired and you want to eat a meal outside, you can make an instant bowl of oatmeal. Just pour it in, pour that same water that you used to make the coffee with, and you got two things done at once, or a piece of toast to tide you over till later in the day. I'm not saying never get an outside snack. I'm not saying never get an outside coffee. You'll get to enjoy it even better because the majority of your expenses will have been reduced. It is shocking and amazing to me how many people could care less about those BS expenses. Again, no other way to put it but the flatly truthful way. Those miscellaneous BS ridiculous expenses that don't have to be. And that's not even touching the surface, okay? That's actually just about touching the surface. But the real deep stuff is when people don't mind paying month in and month out interest on their credit cards, not even making a dent in the principal bill. Interest, making minimal payments. That's never, ever good. But that's for another show. So thanks for taking a walk with me through a typical day for some people who will never get the it factor. They will not get the it factor until they have fallen deeply into the rabbit hole of DEBT. And that's the choice. that they made.